Guys, this is part 2 of the garden. We're gonna try, and as fast as we can with daylight, get our stuff planted now that it has finished storming. So hopefully we're done with frost, because I don't want to cover this. This is my wife, Haley. She's gonna talk to you all about a little bit more what we're gonna try and do tonight.
Okay, so we want to make sure when you're planting your garden to space out your vegetables properly. We learned this the first year, about 3 years ago, that if you cram your vegetables too close together, then basically chaos ensues. You don't get a super great harvest and it can just cause a lot of problems. So last year we pivoted and learned to properly space them. So these are our Roma tomatoes. With tomatoes and peppers, you can kind of keep the same rule of thumb. This was based on the Farmer's Almanac. So you want to space your tomatoes and peppers 18 inches in between. And then you also want to create a 6-inch border around your bed. So you don't want to plant, and this one's definitely pretty obvious, but you don't want to put your plants super close to the border because then that could be really interesting when the plant starts to grow and get really tall. So those are some rules about spacing. You can also, if you are planting a bunch of different things like squash, cucumbers, we've done those before. You can usually on the back of seed packets, just at Lowe's or Home Depot, there will be instructions there of when to plant, the spacing that you need to have, and the depth with which you plant seeds and so forth. So those are the rules of spacing. It's really important that you space your plants because otherwise you can have a lot of issues with your garden.
Yep.
So
Ours took themselves out our first year.
Yes, we basically crowded too many squash, cucumbers, we did 2 tomatoes, and I think 2 okra. And it was just really bad. That was the bed at the far end. That this year is going to just be green. So I have got some lettuce, kale, and spinach. And then I'm also gonna put some herbs in that garden bed because it was just too chaotic doing squash and cucumber last year. We got squash bugs, and so we're just doing peppers and tomatoes this year. So, yeah.
It's time to get to planting.
Let's start spacing these out.
Ooh. First bed of tomatoes is laid out, ready for planting.
Before we run out of daylight, I'm going to show you very quickly how to properly plant a vegetable. So we have everything spaced, everything marked out. So you want to dig probably about 1/2 inch to a full inch deep.
That's a couple inches deep.
I know. I don't have great spatial recognition. You just want to do a couple inches. Alex will probably chime in, but you want to, be able to fit your entire plant inside. That's the point. So you want to put this down, and then you're going to surround it with some soil, and you want to firmly pack this little guy in. And yes, I said little guy because I talk to my plants. So yeah, you just want to get it really nicely, tightly packed in. And there you go. That's pretty much it. This is my favorite part of starting the garden, is getting the plants in and then watching them do their thing.
There they are planted. Got these awesome little labels from my grandmother. So we know that these 2 tomatoes here are cherries. These 2 in the middle, we didn't have a label for, but we're pretty positive they're Romas. I guess we're gonna find out. And these 2 over here are our Goldens.
Yes, Golden Jubilees.
Golden Jubilees. So those are our big slicers that we got. We learned not to do so many slicers because they're not great for sauces.
And they do not grow well in Knoxville. And they pretty much take away all the nutrients from your other tomatoes, we've learned. So it's better to have same shape roughly of tomatoes.
You might have more luck. We haven't had good luck with slicers.
No.
Learn we like Romas a lot because you can make all the sauces in the world and salsa. And then we're gonna try some tomatillos, but we don't have those yet because they didn't have them where we get our plants. Haley gets our plants from a local high school. Their 4-H club sells them, and they're cheap. They've been great plants every year. So we decided, and we're supporting a local high school, so we go back every year and get plants from them. But they don't have tomatillos, so we gotta go find some, hopefully at another nursery in town, which there's several, so we're gonna try and find some.
These are our peppers. And truthfully, our toddler pulled off most of the labels. These are our sweet banana. I love banana peppers. They're great for pickling. They're really good on sandwiches. They taste delicious. Makes a really good gift for people too. I'm not sure what these are. They're probably bell peppers. Again,
Most of our ones we're pretty sure they don't have a label are the bell peppers.
toddler probably pulled off said label. And then these are jalapenos.
Our
So
only hot pepper this year.
gotta have jalapenos if you're gonna make salsa. Just kind of a rule of thumb.
Or habaneros, but we have bags and bags of frozen habaneros from last year.
That have not been used yet, so we don't need any more of those.
We didn't get enough tomatoes last year.
No. Come on, little buddy. You can also see all of the roots, so you do sometimes want to, which I didn't with the other ones, but it's okay. You do kind of want to squish the bottom.
Give it a little zhuzh.
Give it, yeah, a little zhuzh. Forgot that step with the other ones, but that's okay.
They weren't root bound like these are starting to get.
No. And also, I was gonna say this earlier too, while I'm doing this. When people ask me about doing a garden and planting and doing vegetables, I always tell them start small. Do 1 to 2 beds 1 year. That's kind of how we got started. We only had, I think, was it 3 beds? I feel
Yeah,
like
we did 3.
We did 3 beds our first year. And I can't even imagine, like, I don't think we would have survived if we had 5. There's just a lot to learn in the process of planting, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Even for some people who feel like they don't really have time to do all kinds of vegetables, but they want to do something, herbs are great. Those are a good starter too.
There's the peppers. Surprise appearance from Oakley. What you thinking, dog? Huh? So that is part 2 of the garden for 2025. We'll be back with another video for part 3 where the garden's 100%. We gotta finish up. We've got 2 beds done. We're gonna get the 3rd bed of tomatoes done. Probably the 4th bed of peppers, but we still have to go get some tomatillos for our final tomato bed. We gotta get the herbs planted.
And
Hopefully, yeah, the lettuce. So hopefully, part 3 we'll have everything in the beds, maybe even some sprouts from the seeds. That way we can show you all exactly how everything's looking, what we did, maybe show you how we water stuff and what fertilizer we've been using. We actually got tips from the neighbors of what to use, and they have a massive set of garden beds like we do. Actually, they have more. I'd say James is probably more successful at the garden than we are.
Yes.
But he's also done it for a long time, so he's very knowledgeable. But another thing with gardens, if you have neighbors that garden, ask for tips. You'd be surprised how much you'll learn from your neighbors. We learned a ton.
And go to your local farmer's market, support local, and ask them a lot of questions about gardening too. They're very helpful. And then finally, like this video and comment below of questions you have about gardens. Maybe we'll address them in the next video or in an upcoming video about all of our gardening.
See you in the next one.